Hey guys, it's Steve from stevecooksfood.com. Today we're going to be starting our Thanksgiving series in which I'll be showing you a few of my favorite dishes to make during the holiday. Now, every good Thanksgiving meal starts with a really good soup, and this soup is special because it's a vegan soup. So basically I like at least one part of the meal to be shared by everyone at the table. So the only people that may not like this soup is the people that don't like too much flavor in their food. And if you're one of those people, too bad. So the important parts to this soup is the butternut squash. We're going to be using candied ginger to give a nice bite to the soup, and we're also going to be using Garam Masala. Now to finish it off, instead of using heavy cream in the soup, we're going to be using coconut milk. In order to start the soup, we're going to first take our butternut squash and we're going to cut it down the middle. So it's important to find a butternut squash that is very symmetrical in nature. A lot of them are kind of weirdly shaped, and it's hard to cut it right down the center. But because we're roasting this in the oven first, we want to make sure it's really even when we cut it so it roasts evenly throughout. So what we're going to do is take a really sharp knife. They always say that. I'm not sure why. I don't know if anyone's going to try a plastic knife to cut through the butternut squash or a butter knife, but that's probably not what you want to do. You want to take a sharp knife like this guy and you want to cut it right down the middle in half, and then after that we're going to roast it in the oven for about an hour. I'll show you guys that in a second. What you do is pour some olive oil right over the squash. You can spread it around with your fingers. Then we're going to add about a teaspoon of salt. We'll do. And before we put it in the oven, we're going to add a little bit of maple syrup, probably about 2 teaspoons. And what the maple syrup will do will help caramelize the outside and create a little bit more sweetness. Good to go. You're going to put it in a 400-degree oven for about an hour. As you can see, I didn't peel the squash. After you roast it for about an hour, the peel will just magically come off, which is much nicer than trying to peel it before you put it in the oven. So in order to prepare our garlic, we're going to take our garlic and we're going to just cut the top off, expose all of the garlic and the inside, and you're going to just put a little bit of olive oil right on the top of the garlic, just like so. A little bit of salt, and then you're going to cover it up with aluminum foil pouch, just like this. And from here, you can just put it right in the oven. I'd say about 45 minutes should do you. We're going to start building our soup together. The first thing we're going to do is add some olive oil to our pan. And then we're going to throw in our shallots and cook it for about 5 minutes just so they kind of soften up a little bit. So at this point, we're added a Granny Smith apple. You can see I've peeled it, cored it, and chopped it up into smaller pieces. We're going to stir that up for a couple minutes, get it incorporated in there. And then we want to put our garam masala in. 30 seconds or so, fry it up. Get that releases more of the flavor once you do that. We're adding a half a cup candied ginger. Keep stirring that about. Squash and the garlic. And then we're going to add our liquid in. It's going to be 3 cups of vegetable stock and 1 cup of white wine. Just going to stir this up, mixing everything together. Let it simmer for about half an hour or so. We just want all the flavors to incorporate. And after that, we're going to use our immersion blender and just kind of blend up the soup into a nice creamy consistency. At this point, our soup has been cooking for about 20 minutes. So what we're going to do now is turn off the heat, and then we're going to use our immersion blender. We're going to put it inside and just blend up the soup so it loses its giant chunks of apples and butternut squash. So basically just run the immersion blender until it's nice and smooth. So after running the immersion blender, we now have a pretty nice smooth soup. You can see it's still pretty thick. So I'm going to now add the can of coconut milk to thin it out. Okay, we're pouring in our can of coconut milk. Use the whole can. There's a lot of soup in here, so it's not going to be that much. Stir it up. Once it's incorporated, you're good to go. In order to finish the soup off, what I like to do is I serve it with the little pecans right in the middle. What I'll do with the Garam Masala is I like to just kind of spread it around. People that don't like the taste, you know, it's not really strong with Garam Masala right now, and just sprinkling on top kind of builds it a little more flavor-wise, and it looks really pretty. And finish it off with some chives, and there you go. You have your roasted butternut squash soup. All right, thanks guys, and find more of these recipes at stevecooksfood.com. Thank you very much.